So I hear from a lot of folks all the time who are pretty much at the end of their rope when it comes to making pie dough. Their dough sticks, it falls apart, it does whatever that is, and they think that I can help. And actually, I can. I've written 3 pie books, 18 cookbooks, I have a pie YouTube channel and all that good stuff. But all you really need to know is that I can help you make a pie crust that you can be proud of, no matter how dysfunctional your relationship with pie dough has been in the past. Oh, there's just one catch, at least in this video. You're going to need a food processor, at least a 10-cup one, but a 12 or a 14-cup one is even better. Sure, there are other ways to make pie dough by hand with a stand mixer and all the rest, and I've tried all of them. But a food processor is by far the fastest, the easiest, and the most foolproof way to go. And by the way, the food processor that I use in this video is my favorite of the many I've used over the years. And if you're in the market, you'll find a link to it in the description box below. So let's dive into the recipe, but don't worry about writing everything down as I go, because there's a link to the recipe in the description box below. And while you're there, you'll also find links to some of my other most popular food processor baking recipes, so check those out too. Start by cutting 10 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter into 1/2 inch cubes. And we'll just stick that in the fridge for a minute or two. While we're on the subject, most pro bakers prefer unsalted butter in their recipes so they can regulate the amount of salt as precisely as possible. But salted butter will work fine, so if that's all you have, it's not the end of the world. Next, let's put a precise 1/3 cup water in the fridge too. We're keeping all this stuff cold because it'll help you get a flakier crust. Now, you're going to need 1½ cups all-purpose flour. Be sure to use a dry measure for your flour and not a liquid one. Dry measures are usually made of metal and they're designed so you can level off the top. Liquid measures, on the other hand, they're typically made of glass and they have extra headroom in them so your ingredients don't spill over when you measure them. Now, when you measure your flour, just lightly deposit it into your cup like so and then level off the top. Don't scoop and cram the flour into the cup like this or you'll wind up with too much flour and your pastry's going to come out dry and give you all kinds of grief. By the way, if you prefer to weigh your flour, I typically don't, but if you're a weigher, 1½ cups all-purpose flour is equal to 180 grams. Add the flour to the processor along with 1/2 teaspoon salt. It's optional, but you can also add 1½ teaspoons of sugar. You won't really taste the sweetness of it, but it will help you brown the crust a little bit more. Now, pulse those dry ingredients a few times to give them a good mixing. And by the way, when I say pulse, that just means turning the machine on for 1 or 2 seconds at a time, like this, using the pulse button on your processor. Go get the butter from the fridge, add it to the machine, and start pulsing the processor repeatedly, maybe 6 or 7 times, until the butter is chopped into small pieces. Then remove the lid and see how it looks. At this point, the visible bits of butter should be around the size of lentils or dry beans, but you'll probably have a whole range of sizes, and that's great. But if a lot of the butter is still in big pieces, go ahead and give it a couple of more pulses. Now, you're going to need both of your hands for this next step, or you can borrow one of somebody else's if there's one available. So here's the deal. You're going to simultaneously pour the liquid down the feed tube in about a 7-second stream while you pulse the machine. Here's what that looks like in real life. I like this pulse while you pour method because it keeps tossing the loose mixture up from the bottom of the bowl so everything mixes evenly. Food processors have a natural tendency to pack the dough down, which you don't want, and this pulsing action helps to avoid that. Now, when you're done adding the water, the pastry will look loose and crumbly like fine buttery pellets, but not dry or floury. Also, you might see some larger clumps of pastry starting to form, and when that happens, stop pulsing. Next, we're going to shape the dough into a disc, and we have a pretty neat way of doing that. And it's neat because it keeps those warm, nervous hands of yours off the dough. Warm hands will start to soften the butter, and that'll just make the dough hard to handle. So, lay 3 pieces of plastic wrap, each about 20 inches long, on your counter, overlapping each of them by about half. That'll give you a nice big target when you dump out your loose pastry. Now, empty the contents of the bowl into the middle of the plastic. Grab a handful of plastic on opposite sides, Bring your knuckles together and press down on the dough to pack it. Change the position of your hands on the plastic and repeat, bringing your knuckles together again, and keep packing down on those loose bits. Then just go ahead and repeat this step a number of times, and each time you do it, press down firmly on the dough. This flattens out your butter, and that helps you get a nice flaky crust. The last few times you do this, coax the dough into the best circle that you can. Aim for a disc that's a little under an inch thick. Now wrap the dough in plastic and refrigerate it for about 30 to 45 minutes before you roll it. That's long enough to refirm the butter, but not so long that the dough becomes so cold and solid that it's hard to roll. Now, a couple of questions for you. Have you ever seen pie dough shaped like this before? And how do you shape your pie dough when you make it? Do you just pack it with your hands like a snowball? Or do you do it some other way? Leave a comment down below and let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Thanks a lot. Incidentally, this recipe makes enough dough for a single crust pie when you just need a top, like for a pot pie, or you just need a bottom crust, like for a crumb top fruit pie. If you need a second crust, I recommend making the recipe twice, because if you double the ingredients all at once, it'll crowd the machine and the dough is just not going to mix up as evenly. You don't even need to wash the bowl out between batches. Now that you've made your food processor dough, let me give you a few tips on how to roll it. First of all, don't skip that initial chilling of the dough, that 30 to 45 minutes. Not only does that pause relax the dough so it's easier to roll, it refirms the butter, like I mentioned earlier, so the dough doesn't get all sticky when you roll it out. Of course, you can chill your dough longer, even overnight, and I often do that, but it's going to get pretty solid. And that's fine. Just let it sit at room temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes before you roll it to loosen it up a bit. And by the way, you don't need any sort of special surface to roll your dough on. Virtually any smooth surface will do. I usually roll on big sheets of parchment paper for easy cleanup, with a silicone baking mat underneath to keep it from sliding around. But rolling directly onto wood or granite or marble or formica, whatever you have will work great. Now when you roll, flour your work surface, the top of your dough, and the rolling pin. If at any point you feel like you've added too much flour, you can always just brush off some of it with a pastry brush. Now while you're rolling, slide your fingers under the dough and rotate the dough just a little bit after every couple of swipes of your rolling pin, just to make sure it's not sticking. If it is, just dust it with a little more flour. And by the way, when you start rolling and the dough is cold and firm, one of these skinny French style pins will give you a lot of leverage. I usually start with my French pin, then switch to a bigger one. When you've rolled your dough as big as you want, trim it up, brush off any excess flour, and transfer the dough to your pie pan. And there you have it, perfect food processor pastry. And I know that you're going to nail this with just a little practice. So good luck, and let me know in the comments how it goes. And don't forget, there's a link to the recipe in the description box below. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really like another video I made about the 7 game-changing ways that home bakers can use a food processor. So check that one out, and I'll see you in the next video.